Have you ever stopped to realize that 90% of the decisions you make aren't really yours? They're echoes, old memories, emotions you don't even remember living. Your subconscious is silently pulling the strings every single day. The way you react, love, work, sabotage yourself, none of that is born in the present moment. It all comes from a hidden archive inside you. And the most shocking part? Most of these automatic memories were created when you were a child, and today, without noticing, you're still obeying them. Today, I'm going to show you how these hidden memories control your life, and how you can finally rewrite the script. The subconscious works like a recorder that never turns off. Every word you heard, every criticism you accepted, every fear you lived, everything was recorded. And these memories don't just sit there, they become automatic programs, shaping your choices without asking permission. That's why sometimes you feel like you're living the same story over and over again. It's because your body and mind are simply obeying what was recorded back then. From the moment you were born, that recorder was already on. Every tone of voice that scared you, every hug that calmed you, every situation that made you feel small or invisible, all of it was archived in deep layers of your mind. And the worst part, you didn't choose any of it. You just absorbed it. You absorbed the emotional climate of your home, the unspoken expectations, the fears disguised as advice. And now, years later, these recordings keep playing on loop, determining how you behave in the face of challenges, how you react to rejection, how you handle success or failure. You act in the present, but you're being directed by the past. And the most surprising thing is that you don't need to remember anything to be controlled by it. Forgotten traumas remain active. Seemingly harmless comments continue dictating your limits. Small but emotionally strong experiences transform into internal truths, like "I'm not capable, I don't deserve it, it's going to go wrong." You think it's just anxiety, but often it's just an old program running on autopilot. The subconscious doesn't need your permission to act. It doesn't warn you when it's making decisions for you. That time when you were 6 years old and everyone laughed when you made a mistake in the school presentation? You barely remember it. But your body remembers. And today, when you need to speak in public, your heart races, your hands sweat, your voice breaks. Not because you don't know what to say, but because a part of you is still stuck in that classroom, waiting to be ridiculed. These emotional memories transform into silent beliefs that dictate what you can or cannot do. And you don't even realize you're being governed by ghosts from the past. But there's good news, all of this can be reprogrammed. When you understand how the subconscious works, you stop being a victim of memories and start becoming the author of your own story. Changing deep beliefs is difficult, but completely possible. And when you do this, something extraordinary happens. Your reality changes, your behavior changes, your results change. Because your outer life will always be a reflection of what you carry inside. Neuroscience has already proven that the brain has plasticity. It can create new neural pathways until the end of life. This means no programming is permanent. You can unlearn fear, you can deconstruct limiting beliefs, you can create new emotional responses. But this requires awareness, intention, and consistency. It requires you to stop living on automatic and start questioning why you react the way you react, why you choose what you choose, why you sabotage yourself when you're about to win. When you illuminate these hidden patterns, they lose power over you. And then, finally, you start living the life you chose, not the life you inherited. The subconscious doesn't distinguish past from present. It just reacts. That's why, when something triggers a strong emotion in you, a criticism, a look, a situation, it's not the now you that's reacting. It's your wounded, forgotten version, which still believes it needs to protect itself. And as long as you don't access the root of this, you'll continue living as if trapped in a cycle you never chose. For the subconscious, time doesn't exist. It doesn't know that happened 20 years ago. It feels as if it's happening now. That's why an argument with your partner can trigger the same feeling of abandonment you felt when your parents fought. A demanding boss can awaken the same fear of disappointment you carried when trying to please your family. It's not about the present situation, it's about what it touches in you. It's about which old wound it awakens. And until you heal that wound, it will continue bleeding into every relationship, every challenge, every attempt to grow. You even try to move forward, but something invisible pulls you back. That something is your subconscious asking to be heard. And that's exactly how patterns repeat: similar relationships, similar frustrations, opportunities that slip away in the same way. Not because you're not capable, but because the subconscious interprets change as a threat. It prefers to keep you where it's safe, even if that place is full of limits. That's why so many people feel stuck in life. It's not lack of strength. It's excess of old programming. The subconscious was programmed to protect you, not to make you happy. It values survival above all else. So if you grew up in an environment where showing vulnerability was dangerous, today you'll close yourself off emotionally even when you're with someone who truly loves you. If you learn that achieving something good means losing it later, you'll sabotage every victory before it materializes. It's not a conscious choice, it's a survival strategy. The problem is that these strategies that protected you in childhood now imprison you in adult life. They keep you small, limited, distant from what you really want. And until you deactivate these internal locks, you'll continue feeling that life is harder for you than it should be. To begin the change, you need to bring light to what's hidden. Notice your triggers, observe your reactions, understand your repetitions. Self-observation is the key that opens the door to the subconscious. When you start identifying patterns, something magical happens. What was automatic becomes conscious. And everything that becomes conscious can be transformed. Real change begins with curiosity, not judgment. When you notice that you react disproportionately to something small, instead of blaming yourself, ask, where does this come from? When was the first time I felt this way? When you notice you're repeating a self-destructive behavior, instead of punishing yourself, investigate, what part of me believes this is necessary? What am I trying to avoid or protect? This gentle investigation, without criticism, is what allows the subconscious to reveal itself. It doesn't open under pressure, it opens in understanding. And the more you observe yourself without condemning yourself, the more you can see the invisible threads that bind you. Seeing is the first step to liberating. Reprogramming the subconscious isn't about positive thinking. It's about feeling different. It's about giving your body new emotional experiences, strong enough to replace the old ones. That's why visualization, intense affirmations, deep meditation, and somatic techniques work. They send new signals, new emotions, new meanings. They show the subconscious that it's safe to change. You can repeat "I am confident" 1,000 times in front of the mirror, but if your body is trembling with fear, the subconscious will believe the fear, not the words. That's why reprogramming needs to be somatic. It needs to involve the body, not just the mind. When you intensely visualize a scene of success and allow your body to feel the emotion of that moment, the joy, the relief, the gratitude, you're creating a new emotional memory. And if you do this repeatedly, with depth and presence, the subconscious starts treating that memory as real. It doesn't differentiate between a lived experience and an intensely felt experience. So when the real situation arrives, you won't react with the old fear pattern, you'll react with the new confidence programming. That's the difference between mechanically affirming and truly reprogramming. And when the change begins, you feel it. The fear diminishes. Anxiety loses strength. Your body relaxes. Your decisions become clearer. You start attracting situations that previously seemed impossible, not because the universe changes, but because you change inside. And a reprogrammed mind begins to create a reprogrammed life. That's the true power of the subconscious, transforming you from the inside out. The change doesn't happen all at once. It happens in waves. First, you notice that situation that always blocked you now bothers you less. Then you act differently in a critical moment and are surprised by your own reaction. Next, opportunities start emerging, not because you got lucky, but because you stopped unconsciously blocking what you desired. Your energy changes. Your posture changes. People feel it, even without understanding. And the doors that once seemed closed begin to open, because now you're vibrating at a frequency that allows them to open. It's not magic. It's alignment. When your interior is at peace with what you want, the exterior begins to reflect that naturally. The subconscious learns through repetition. What you hear every day, think every day, feel every day, becomes internal truth. That's why negative environments, critical people, and self-destructive thoughts have so much power over you. They reinforce themselves, accumulate, become patterns. But the same mechanism that harms you can also free you. You just need to choose what you want to repeat. Think of the subconscious as a garden. What you plant in it every day is what will grow. If you spend hours consuming content that makes you anxious, talking with people who diminish you, ruminating thoughts of failure, you're watering seeds of limitation. And they will grow, inevitably. But if you start carefully choosing what you consume, who you spend time with, what you repeat to yourself, you're planting seeds of expansion. And over time, they take over the garden. Repetition is powerful. It both imprisons and frees you. The difference lies in the direction you choose. Each day is a new chance to water the right seeds. And the more you do this, the more the subconscious understands, this is the new normal. This is how we live now. All change begins when you become responsible for what feeds your mind. Every video you watch, every conversation you maintain, every thought you allow, is shaping your subconscious in silence. Nothing is neutral. Everything transforms you. And when you become intentional about this, the subconscious begins to reorganize itself to take you exactly where you want to go. Many people don't realize how much they're being programmed passively. They think just relaxing watching anything, or just venting with anyone, is harmless. But it's not. Each input enters, each emotion is registered, each narrative shapes your worldview. If you spend all day consuming bad news, you program fear. If you spend time with people who complain all the time, you program resignation. If you allow yourself to dive into thoughts of self-pity, you program powerlessness. This doesn't mean you need to be perfect or live in a bubble. But it means you need to be conscious. You need to actively choose what enters. You need to protect your mental garden. Because what you feed today is what you'll harvest tomorrow. And if you want to harvest confidence, abundance, peace, you need to plant that now, every day, in small intentional choices. But the subconscious doesn't respond to logic, it responds to emotion. That's why often you know what you need to do, but you can't. You know what you want, but you freeze. You know where to go, but you stay still. It's not rational, it's emotional. When you change the emotion you live inside, your actions finally align with your desires. How many times have you caught yourself thinking, I know I should do this, but I just can't? It's not lack of information. You already know. It's not lack of intelligence. You understand. It's that there's an emotional layer blocking the action. It could be fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of losing control. It could be an old belief that you don't deserve it, you're not capable, it won't work out. These emotions are more powerful than any logic. They paralyze. And as long as you try to overcome this with willpower alone, you'll lose the battle. Willpower is finite. Emotion is constant. That's why the path isn't to fight against emotion, it's to transform it. When you access the emotional root of the blockage and reframe it, action stops being a struggle. It becomes natural. You don't need to force yourself anymore. You simply act, because now the path is clear inside. And this is the point where many people give up. Because reprogramming the mind doesn't happen in one day, it happens in small repeated choices. In observing yourself, embracing yourself, reframing yourself. In challenging the old and insisting on the new. It's a daily, silent, sometimes difficult process, but absolutely transformative. Every step you take in the conscious is a step the subconscious learns to follow. Real transformation is slow. It doesn't come with fireworks. It comes in the silence of small daily victories. It comes when you choose to pause instead of explode. When you observe yourself instead of judge yourself. When you repeat a new belief even though it doesn't feel true yet. Is it boring? Sometimes, yes. Is it difficult? Absolutely. But it's in these moments of insistence that the subconscious begins to yield. It tests you. It tries to pull you back to the old pattern, because the old is known, it's safe. But when you resist, when you choose again and again and again the new path, something breaks. The resistance diminishes. The new begins to feel familiar. And one day you wake up and realize you're no longer fighting, you've changed. Truly. Inside. And no one can take that from you. Over time, you begin to notice that what once controlled you loses strength. Old fears become smaller. Old beliefs begin to crumble. Automatically, you start reacting differently, acting differently, choosing differently. Not because you forced yourself, but because you reprogrammed yourself. That's the real power, changing your life by changing your inner foundation. And the most beautiful part of all this is that the change becomes natural. You're no longer pretending to be someone you're not. You're no longer struggling to maintain a mask. You're simply different. The things that terrified you now seem small. The situations that paralyzed you now challenge you in a healthy way. You stop attracting the same problems, because you're no longer emitting the same emotional frequency. You stop sabotaging yourself, because you no longer carry that belief that you don't deserve it. Life doesn't become perfect, but it becomes aligned. And when you're aligned inside, everything becomes lighter outside. You realize you always had the power to change. You just needed to learn how to access the part of you that truly controls everything, the subconscious. The truth is simple. Your subconscious mind is the operating system of your life. Nothing changes outside until it changes inside. When you understand this, you stop being hostage to the automatic memories that shaped you without permission. You begin to take the wheel of your own story. And that's the first step to any true transformation. You can try to change your job, relationship, city, body, but if the operating system remains the same, the results will remain similar. Because it's not about where you are. It's about who you are inside. And who you are inside was programmed, layer by layer, experience by experience, over years. The good news? You can deprogram. You can rewrite. You can create a new version of yourself that no longer carries the weight of the past. But this requires courage. Courage to look inside, to face what hurts, to admit that you're living on automatic. And when you have that courage, everything transforms. Because you finally understand, the life you want is on the other side of the mind you have. Change the mind, and life follows. You don't need to erase your past, you need to reframe it. You need to teach your subconscious that now you're an adult, capable, conscious, and you no longer need to live according to childhood pains. You need to show that it's safe to prosper, love, grow, try, risk, live. Because when the subconscious understands it's safe to change, it changes. And then your entire life changes with it. Reframing isn't denying. It's not pretending nothing happened. It's looking at that child you were, who suffered, who was afraid, who felt insufficient, and saying, I understand. I see you. But now I take care of you. It's showing your subconscious, with patience and repetition, that the threats of the past no longer exist. That you no longer need to hide, protect yourself, diminish yourself. That it's safe to be seen, it's safe to have success, it's safe to be loved. When you do this, when you reprogram not with force, but with compassion, something deep heals. And this healing isn't abstract. It appears in how you wake up in the morning, in how you respond to challenges, in how you relate. It appears in your life. And you finally understand, I always had the power. I just needed to learn to use it. Now, the choice is in your hands. Continue living on autopilot, trapped in memories that aren't even yours anymore. Or start today rewriting every belief, every emotion, every pattern. You're not condemned to the past. You're the only one who can create the future. And it all begins when you decide to reprogram what controls you in silence, your subconscious mind. This is the moment. Not tomorrow, not when things get better, not when you feel ready. Now. Because the truth is you'll never feel completely ready. Change is scary. It requires you to let go of the known, even if the known is painful. But on the other side of that fear is the version of you that always wanted to exist, free, whole, powerful. That version is waiting. It always has been. It just needs you to take the first step. For you to look inside with honesty and say, I'm not going to live like this anymore. I deserve more. And I'm going to do the necessary work to get there. When you do this, the subconscious listens. And it begins to reorganize itself. Because it was always meant to serve you, it was just waiting for you to take command. Take command now. Rewrite now. Live now.